Welcome to the Push 101. I'm Anthony. This is the show for the week of June 1st. Um, Basically, we're gonna cover several topics, and this show is gonna be a little bit more sports focused because a lot of the things that have happened over the recent time are sports related. Okay, first of all, the racial slur that was directed towards LeBron James and his family in his LA home. Until we address race and the systemic problems that come from race, we won't really be able to reach our full potential as a country. Now, it seems like things have gotten progressively worse since President Obama came on the scene. It seems like racial unrest has increased, and I think it's because white supremacists at their core, they don't have good self-esteem, and they get intimidated when black people or minorities seem to be coming into more accessibility to power. But it's just sad that the timing of the event and the issues surrounding the event. But thank God, thank God that LeBron's family was not, LeBron wasn't there, and his family is okay. But we need to speak to, race as an issue, and it's kind of weird. I really feel like it's gonna take a meeting in the middle. Like, white people are gonna have to admit their responsibility, and black people are gonna have to demand more respect. On as a whole, we're gonna have to do more. We're gonna have to work harder at seeing everybody's perspective, but there has to be a baseline of things you can and cannot do as far as racial issues. Another thing that we need to work on, and none of the major issues that the United States is dealing with will be worked out until we deal with that one. Another sports issue I wanted to talk about was Tiger Woods. Now, this is related to, in a roundabout way, into race also. Tiger Woods was pulled over in Jupiter, Florida, and he was under the influence of some prescription drugs for his back pain. We all know about his back issues that he's been dealing with for like the past, I would say 6, maybe 7, 8 years. But in my personal opinion, a person with that much money, a person with that much cachet, a person with that much known in that small community, the police would have, assisted him to get home, and in most cases, if there's not a situation, I think this is more of a PR move for the powers that be to kind of pile on Tiger, and I think the overall rule is, if you know you shouldn't be driving, you shouldn't be driving. So that means if you're under the influence of, you know, some good herb or some prescription drugs or alcohol or just even if you want to have a good time and you don't want to focus on rules of the road or whatever, you should always, if you have the means, which he definitely does, you should just hire a driver for the evening. But he said in the actual stop that he enjoys driving, which is understandable. But I'm just saying, and I'm not saying that this is based on color. It seemed like, if the guy that shot the people in South Carolina could go get a hamburger before they took him to jail, they could have just basically assisted Tiger Woods to get to his house. Without even doing a traffic stop. And I'm sure after he sobered up and he realized what happened, I'm sure he would give the police department a healthy donation. But, maybe that's just me, But the guy's worth $800 million. And he's, never committed a crime of any sort. On a lighter note, I'd like to speak to what happened with the Mr. Met mascot. And this was just last evening. The Mets were getting beat pretty bad by another team. And the Mets flipped off. The Mr. Mets flipped off a fan of the opposing team. Now, I think on one breath it's pretty funny, because if you actually see it, he flips the guy the bird. And if you can imagine this big baseball head flipping, an actual fan the bird. And to me, I think because mascots have anonymity, they kind of cross the line a little bit. But I thought it was pretty funny at first. And, the Mets have since, dismissed the mascot. And, excuse me. With all that being said, it was quite funny to just see it. And, I think, kind of sort we don't know what the Mets mascot heard or said or did, what the fan did to the mascot. So, with that being said, I just thought it was something funny that we could speak about. But, free Mr. Met. We've all, blew a gasket and they were getting pretty much beat pretty good. And he just took it the wrong way. My last thing that I want to speak about is the last part of the NBA, the Western Conference Finals. Shaq showed his feet on TNT. Now, he has since, made an appointment with a manicure to get a manicure, and he showed getting a manicure on social media. Shaq, as much money as you can have your manicurist meet you anywhere and get your toes done. And for the record, all guys, getting a pedicure is not a bad thing. It feels great. You feel really comfortable, and your feet feel better after doing it. Guys, it's not a female thing. It's a human thing. Nobody wants to see you going around with caveman feet. And trust me, I've been on both sides of the issue. But, being a grown ass man, there's certain things you have to do. And SHAQS' feet were deplorable. But a side note to that, a lot of NBA players have hooves for feet. James Harden, man, I don't even know how he can walk. But that's just me. But summing it all up, LeBron James, the racial slur, America needs to work on their racial issues. And really discuss it. And really have a plan and action to improve the racial equality in America. Then, Tiger Woods, I think he didn't necessarily have to, after he passed the breathalyzer test, there were other options. I don't believe that he necessarily needed to be arrested. I think he's such an upstanding member of the community, and he wasn't posing a threat. Why is it he wasn't assisted to go home? Why is it, the police didn't assist him to go home? I have a couple friends that have been in the same situation, and they either drove them to the hospital or they drove them, back to their residence. And they weren't arrested at all, by the grace of God. But, and then my last thing, no. Mr. Met. Mr. Met, I feel your pain, man. You guys were predicted to be one of the top teams in the league. You're having all types of problems this season, not winning games. We're all frustrated. And we've all flipped the bird to someone. So, free Mr. Met. Free Mr. Met. It's understandable. And lastly, Shaq and his big ugly feet. Shaq, don't ever take your shoes off again in public. No, I'm just kidding, because I take my shoes off in public, and sometimes I wear sandals too, and I let my feet out. But man, it's nothing wrong with getting a pedicure. All guys should do it once. It feels great, and your feet feel better afterwards. This has been the Push 101. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. And we also have great shows coming up. I'll probably do a teaser later this week to some of the shows that we have scheduled. This has been the Push 101. And always remember, keep pushing, y'all. I'm Anthony. I'm out.